Supporting me and my son on 725 has been very hard. Oftentimes, when I did get my little check, it'd be like $150 to $200. So I would really have to budget. I have to say, okay, well this week I can't pay my phone bill. I'm gonna have to let that get cut off because he needs diapers and he needs milk. Next week after that, it might be okay, I could pay my phone bill, but now my car insurance is gonna have to wait. So that's gonna have to wait till next week. And I just have to put things off and off. And it's very easy to get in debt when you don't have enough to do what you need to do when it's due. Because by the time I get to it, I got a late fee attached to it. Then before you know it, the first has rolled around again, so it's due again. So it's very hard, it's very difficult.
At 725, you actually, in a sense, you kind of living from paycheck to paycheck. You know, in a sense, you're only one paycheck from being homeless for real. You know, 725 is not a whole lot to go on. You know, especially when you have rents, utilities, food expenses, you know, clothing a young man. I mean, my son is 13, so he wearing clothes almost the same size as me. So I think that's the only, you know, bad experience that I can really think of right offhand.
Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! When I move, you move. Just like that.
And to the big finish tonight, an industry dominated by working moms just got a serious wake-up call. Hundreds of workers walked off their jobs across New York City yesterday. This is an unprecedented strike.
$15 isn't a lot. Give us a raise.
Right now we're living in poverty. Like, these companies are making billions of dollars and we are not being appreciated for the work that we do. So they're giving us like $7.25.
Do you think the strike was effective and will it have an impact?
I think it scared the heck out of the bosses.
I first heard about the union while I was still employed at Burger King. One of my fellow co-workers, Chris, told me about it. He said, it was just a real cool lady in here. She was standing there fighting for $15 an hour. And I'm like, $15 an hour for who? He was like, for us, for fast food. I'm like, us getting $15 an hour? Man, like, I'd be in here every day, 8 hours, sign my life over for $15 an hour. And he was like, yeah, they got this whole movement thing going on. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, what's it about? What does it entail? And he says, well, you have to do a couple of speak outs and you have to go to these meetings. And I'm like, okay, I can do meetings. I've joined organizations in the past if I've, you know, supported their cause.
I think the first headline I saw was about workers on strike at fast food restaurants in New York and other major cities throughout the country. I thought, great, I've been waiting to see workers going out on strikes. You hear about all these mass actions in other countries and you wonder, you know, why can't that happen here when workers are being squeezed so hard and taken advantage of and paid such poor wages?
Stand up! Stand up! Stand up!
Fruit is small when you can work and feed other people and can't hardly feed your own children. But you also are the new fruit, the fruit of a new movement.
Fast food workers in cities all across the country walked off the job today. They were protesting their pay. Crowds like this one gathered from Charlotte to Seattle, all with the same message: supersize our salaries to $15 an hour.
We can't survive on $7.25.
Justice! We want justice!
Hey, ho, ho! $7.25 has got to go.
Single mother of 3, and $7.25 is really not enough to survive.
Hold your pickles, hold your fries. Make our way to supersize.
And they're hoping that their voices here and across the country will help bring the changes to this $200 billion industry.
Because doing nothing gets me nothing. Standing up, I might have a chance.
We can't survive on $7.25.
My first strike experience was very interesting. When I first got there, I was scared, I was nervous, I had butterflies. It was at my store, so I was kind of like, oh my God, they're actually gonna see me in this crowd and be like, oh, that's Cora, we're gonna fire her. So I was trying to stay in the back. I kind of had the sign over my face, like all you could see were my eyes. But the longer we got into it, the more we chanted, the louder I got, the more inspired I felt. We had a little break off where we had some little coffee, so I had a little refuel, got a little caffeine in me. Then I was ready to go out there and yell and scream at the top of my lungs. And when they're over, when the strike ends and everyone's together, that energy is amazing. Like everyone all hyped up, like we're not gonna take it no more, we're gonna get better, we're gonna do better, we can do this, guys. That motivation, that energy is just, it's amazing. I can't describe it, it's awesome. I love the energy right after we finish. Everybody's all hyped and you feel like you really made a change, you feel like you were heard, and that's what it's about. It's about being heard instead of just sitting in the background like, you know, this is never gonna get better. To actually go out there and yell and be heard and have cars drive by and they honk and wave and they're like, good job, guys. And you're like, okay, people are supporting us. You know, everybody isn't like, well, just go get another job, because it's not that easy to just go get another job. So the energy and the support is awesome. It's a great experience. I love it.
For people who think that fast food workers don't deserve $15 an hour, why not? I mean, that would be my general question. Why not? I mean, we go out and work just as hard as somebody who makes $20 an hour. We're just not getting, you know, it's just that corporations and big business people just don't acknowledge it like that. But why? We go out and wake up and go to work, put our pants on, dresses or whatever, and go out to work just like the next person. So why not get paid for our labor?
I think it's significant, particularly in the South, because the South historically has been the place that pays the less and more right-to-work states, although it's being rivaled a little bit now. And it has a tradition. The South is where people stood up against Jim Crow. The South is where this nation rediscovered a greater meaning to democracy. The South is where people demonstrated a powerful courage.
When I heard that they were coming to the South to organize workers, I thought, thank goodness. And what took them so long? Because there are, you know, workers throughout the South who are making such poor wages. Almost half of minimum wage workers are in the South. And it is crucial that we organize workers in the South if we want economic justice in this nation. We really need to learn from the civil rights movement that the path to justice has to go through the South. You know, that's why Dr. King marched with sanitation workers in Memphis. It's why college students sat down at a lunch counter in Greensboro. They understood that if they could change policies in the heart of Jim Crow, then they could change laws nationally, and they did. So for us, if we want worker justice throughout this nation, then we have to wage the fight where it's most difficult for workers. And yet again, that's here in the South.
Giving honor to God, because God has given us the right to have a voice. And to speak, because God told us this is right. It's not anybody else's rights. It's not these mainstream corporations' rights. It's our rights. We are the ones that deserve this money. We are the ones who put up with all this crap. We're going to stand together, be one voice, united. We want $15 an hour.
I love speak outs. They're my favorite events that we do.
In a sense, they had everything at their disposal. They're making millions of dollars when we're just barely making ends meet. So it's a really unfair situation all the way around the board. You know, I tell my son all the time, what I'm doing now impacts your future. You know, that you shouldn't have to, have to work and slave like this. You know, the cause and the movement that we're trying to, accomplish now is to better your future. You know,
the companies have as their priority the maximizing of income for themselves, not for the workers. Companies play a public relations game with workers, and they have smiling faces on television, but these companies make an enormous amount of money, and they do not care for and take care of their workers. Now, I can't go into all of the reasons and perhaps don't understand all of them, but in my faith tradition, there is a saying that Jesus said that you have to serve God or mammon. Mammon represents wealth and property. God actually is a lover of persons. And so to love your neighbor as you love yourself means that you have to struggle with them and for them to be paid adequately and treated properly. Companies actually have sided with mammon on this question, and they accumulate the maximum amount of money and pay as much as they are forced to pay. So I would say this, that I do not think we can expect companies to voluntarily do the right things. That is not the nature of money as a priority. And so in some sense, Frederick Douglass comes to mind when he says that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. So I want to go back to why I think this is such a significant movement, because whenever people stand up for their own dignity and inspire other people to stand with them, it makes that city, it makes that state, and it makes that nation a better place.
You know, we're all fighting for the same thing, for the same causes. So a union is just showing the strength of solidarity, us coming together and trying to get just what the average American wants, to be paid and be paid reasonable, to not have to worry about waking up struggling from day to day.
Stand up! Stand up! We're here to say yes to livable wages. We're here to say yes to respect. We cannot continue to act as if you want first-class work and treat the workers as second-class citizens. We're here to say, like Jeremiah, we shall be as a tree that is planted by the waters, whose roots will grow out into the stream, so that we would not be moved. We would not back down. We would not turn around. So we thank God for this movement. We thank God for those who are here. We are here for justice. We are here for love. We are here for peace. And we give God the glory as we say amen. Amen. Come on, make some noise! Come on, make some noise! They don't really care about us. All I want to say is that they don't really care about
And I'm inviting all Latino people que no tengan miedo, to not be afraid, que vengan aquí con nosotros, to come here with us, que podemos seguir adelante, that we can go forward, y que podemos conseguir los $15, and that we can get $15 an hour.
My new motto is you got to speak out. You just have to speak out. No one knows if you don't say anything. My mom used to say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. The more noise you make, the more attention you're going to get. So I think really for me, just learning about my human rights and my worker rights and then getting that confidence to speak up and claim my rights has been the biggest lesson I've learned from Raise Up. Yeah.
The struggle wasn't finished in the 60s or the 70s. We won some democratic rights, but the old saying, what does it matter to have the right to sit down at a restaurant and order a hamburger or a cup of coffee and don't have the money to pay for it? So we still have this economic struggle that's in us, and the low-wage workers, fast food workers of the South represent a movement toward economic democracy.
I would say that workers need unions now more than ever. It's just wrong, it's immoral that we have workers in the richest country in the world working 40+ hours a week and still living in poverty. Absolutely, those workers need a union. A union card is the best anti-poverty program around.
This cause is not going in vain. The thing is if we stand united together, then we can get a lot of things done. Sometimes, you know, they say the pen is mightier than the sword, but sometimes if you stand together and you stand firm and you believe in your convictions and you believe that change can be possible, change is always possible. So, coming together and having these marches and rallies shows that we just want to be treated equally in the fast food industry. Us as being workers, just want the same opportunities as CEOs and people who are at the top of the food chain.
It is a real movement. We are working towards a real change. We're not just kids who get together and yell for a little bit and that's it. It gives you confidence, it gives you strength, it gives you a voice. It gives you knowledge on your rights so you can go to work the next day and when you see something that's not right and you can say something about it. Because I know a lot of times working at those places, you feel like you have no voice. You're just like, you know what, okay, I'm here. I'm their drive-through today. They don't really care about me. You need to realize that you have to care about you. And once you care and you realize you deserve more, there is a way for you to get it. And that way is to join the union.